Hey, welcome back to the Baco Motorsports Power Hour. I say welcome back because I've been gone a couple of weeks. Took a little hiatus. Had a son get married at the house. Had about 175 guests over. Never do that. That's the second time in 3 years we've done that, and that's a lot of work, a lot of fun, but a lot of work. So don't do that. And took a little time off to rejuvenate the batteries, so to speak. This is the first segment of the Power Hour where we talk about national news, local news, whatever we want. And Steve Hughes from Kern County Raceway Park dropped in. How you doing, Steve?
I'm fantastic, Mike. And I'll tell you what, you went on vacation, and it was like a vacation for us as well because we didn't have to deal with you for those 19 days. We hope you got some rest.
Yeah, well, a lot of rest. One of those was a 9-mile hike in Yosemite, so
that sounds like a fun
time. That was a fun deal before the heat wave.
Yeah, and I'm sure the water is flowing.
It was flowing. Yeah. It was flowing. Hiked from Glacier Point down to the valley floor.
Oh, that's quite the hike. Yeah, wow.
I got Illilouette Falls was full, and Nevada Falls was roaring. You come down the Mist Trail. You have to work for that because that's not an easy hike.
No.
To get a view of something that you probably don't see but once every 10 years, that much water in Nevada Falls.
That's great,
Pretty good deal.
And, 2.5 hours from Bakersfield. Can't beat it.
Yeah, I can't beat it. Spent a few nights up at Bass Lake. Love that place.
Wonderful.
So, good deal.
Yeah.
So we got the American flag because we love America.
Yeah.
Part of America.
Happy birthday, USA, coming up.
Happy birthday
in just
coming up.
Less than a week.
And you're going to be celebrating that out at KCRP.
Yeah, a lot of anniversaries and birthdays coming up. Of course, the United States of America, our Independence Day, but also the 50th anniversary for General Production Service. So we're excited about this weekend.
That's a good deal.
Yeah.
And we're excited about the Fast Trip All-Area team.
Mm-hmm.
There's a slide here. It's going to be the third annual team. Already a lot of drivers have qualified. I have to update that list, which is part of catching back up. But I know that Brendan Fry just won an A-Gas race.
In Sacramento?
Sacramento.
Yeah.
So that's, I think he's won 2 out of the 3 Hot Rod Heritage Series races now. So he's on the team again. So
awesome.
2 wins for him, and that's good for the Fry family.
And that's about the
They
coolest
do a lot
look.
of racing.
That Pro Mod is just cool.
Well, he's got the A-Gas. It looks like a Pro Mod.
It does look like a Pro Mod.
57 fiberglass body chopped Chevy.
Yeah. Burgundy.
It's a cool looking car.
It is.
It looks like it's fast, and it is.
Just sitting there. Yeah.
Anyway, we'll talk more about that later in other segments. But NASCAR drivers, we start off with a flyover at Sonoma. They turned left and right.
Yeah.
This weekend. So
for the first time in 2017.
Yeah.
So.
They got to do a little road course racing at Sonoma, and always a good time up there in wine country. I think the drivers like coming out. A lot of them spend a little vacay time before or after the race.
Yeah, those West Coast drivers certainly do.
They do, and you can see here on the slide of snaking there, heading toward the up the S's, I believe. There.
That's actually that's right at the start, right at the start finish
line
as they're going up the hill.
So I
think is it 180 feet of difference from the top to the bottom of the racetrack?
Yeah, I think so. Good. It climbs right up and then goes up to the top, then drops down.
Yeah.
That turn 11, that 35-mile-an-hour turn, the tightest in NASCAR, before you you get to
before
this
you get
part,
on the gas pretty hard and start heading back up the hill.
So.
Yeah, and you know what, Mike? I found myself really intrigued by this race because it had a lot of moving parts throughout the whole thing. The strategies is what kept me really intrigued. I watched the whole thing. Seeing guys going from the front to the back to the front. Mid-pack guys getting a shot late in the race. So I thought it was a great event.
Look at that. You had cars off the track, cars off, spins. It's typical road course racing. I think here, and looky here, who's the winner?
Wow.
Bakersfield's Kevin Harvick, first win of the season. First win for him, and obviously a Ford. And as usual, pretty good burnout by Mr.
Always.
Harvick.
He had just enough gas to get that good burnout.
Yeah, and he knows how to do that.
Yeah.
But what I thought was interesting here, and we got the victory lane celebration, is that so much for stage racing and stage wins being important.
Right.
Because at Sonoma, they went out the window because Harvick was among a handful of drivers who opted to pit right before they closed the pits at the end of the stage, which like 2 to 3 laps to go in the stage.
Pits close it with 2 laps to go. So
and he ducked in right then both times, get off strategy, the heck with 7th place in points or whatever for the stage, and got off strategy, and that's what helped him be out front after the last stage or closer to the front So he drove to the front and got the win.
Yeah, and tires played a big part, fresher tires, and then that, when you extend that 9-second lead, then he just puts it on cruise control. Of course, with his go-karting background, he's very familiar with turning left and right. So great win for him, and he gets to scratch that track off of his list. That was one of 4 tracks that he hadn't won at in his career, and now Sonoma's off that list.
Yeah, so now it's down to 3 active tracks.
Yes.
I guess we have to use the word active tracks. He hasn't won at. But a good deal for Kevin there, and his only if you can see here, Kyle Larson leads the point. Martin Truex, that was probably his competition, but Truex had a motor go south, ended his day. Kevin Harvick now 3rd in points, Kyle Busch 4th, and Brad is 5th. But if you look at the parentheses, those are the bonus points. They really tell you kind of who's leading the real points chase, and that would be Martin Truex. And there's other people with far more than 8 points who aren't in the top 5.
Yeah.
So those bonus points are going to pay off here in about 10 more races.
I think so. Yeah, we're hitting that where we switch networks. We're going to Fox, I believe, over to NBC from here on out, and that kind of marks it where we got about 10 races to go before the playoffs.
And then those playoff points you start looking at, but that win is big. Obviously, 5 playoff points, but also just get that off, and because they've been running well lately, just haven't won.
Yeah.
So you got that. And the interesting thing I thought about the weekend, and we got a shot here, is that he decided to, and this was announced a couple months ago, that he was going to get back in a K&N West car. He won the 1998 championship while he was climbing the ladder toward the Cup Series. And he got back in a car, Jefferson Pitts Racing, by the way, Jerry Pitts, former Oildale.
Right, ties to Bakersfield
Ties
as well.
to Bakersfield.
Yep.
The owners of that, now a Seattle-based team, I believe, up in Spokane or Seattle.
Yes.
And anyway, he got into a Jefferson Pitts West car and led the last 22, 23 laps, I think, to get the win.
That's a great shot right there.
That's a great shot there. I like that shot because it's David Mayhew from Bakersfield following Harvick right there at this point of the race. Mayhew ended up 3rd in the race. Harvick got the win on Saturday. And the deal was, he says, I just didn't want to sit around on Saturday and not do anything, see people racing, and you can always learn.
Yeah.
And getting on the road course, getting in the laps, getting into the rhythm a day early probably helped him immensely on Sunday.
Obviously. He can look back to it and say, yeah, it did pay off.
Obviously, different cars, different power plants, different tires, but he got the win there, so a happy Jefferson Pitts crew there and a happy Harvick on.
Something cool on a side note, after this weekend, we've got a pretty big race coming up on July 8th at Kern County Raceway. JB Motorsports and Mia Sparks are having a fundraiser out at KCRP on July 8th, and that suit that he's wearing right there came right off of his back, and that'll be one of the items up for silent auction on Saturday, July 8th.
Well, that'll be a good deal.
Yeah.
And Mayhew was 3rd in that race.
Yep.
Blaine Perkins, solid finish for him. Best run of the year, finished 7th, so good run for Blaine Perkins. And Derek Thorne, who qualified 4th and was, I think, running 4th when the engine went bye-bye.
Yes.
He finished about 22nd or whatever. He was 22 laps in the race. So.
Pretty cool. We had, 4 drivers from Bakersfield in that race, right? 3 of them now have won at Sonoma on the road course.
That would be
Mayhew, Derek Thorne. And Kevin Harvick.
Yeah. Pretty good road course racers, all of them.
Yeah, certainly.
So, had that going on. Then nationwide stuff, Ryan Reed, not a very good day at Iowa. Had a little late race incident, too. He wasn't too happy with somebody kind of pushing him in the wall. But he didn't run that well basically all day long.
That can be a tough track if your car's not hooked up right.
Yeah, and if it's not right, and it wasn't right,
yeah.
He finished 19th. So they go on to the next race. The points there, Eric Sadler, Justin Allgaier, William Byron with the win. He got his first nationwide win, so he's got 6 bonus points now.
A week after a heartbreaking loss in Michigan.
Right.
So, yeah.
And so Ryan Reed with the win at Daytona. Those 2 are locked in the championship, and you can see by those points, the Cup guys steal a lot of points, and the nationwide guys don't get a lot.
Yeah.
So, IndyCar racing. Scott Dixon won the Kohler Grand Prix. That was at Road America, like a 4-mile long. That's a great
just crazy.
track.
Don't want to run out of gas there.
No, that's not a track where you say, I think I can make it. We can we can go one more lap.
The light comes on, pit now is what you hear on the radio.
Yeah, you don't go by that. So
that was a good
Dixon
race.
Won.
That was a good race.
And Penske's finished 2nd through 5th. Not happy because they want to win. All the
Right.
Penske cars, the 4 next places. But I think the race of the weekend, we've got 2 slides coming up next. The Ferrari there of Sebastian Vettel, and then we have the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton. This was the Azerbaijan
Azerbaijan. Yeah,
Grand
Azerbaijan.
Prix, which was drama filled because you had Kimi Räikkönen and Bottas running into making contact, Mercedes and Ferraris, and then you had Vettel not happy with Hamilton during a caution period, bumped him, came up beside him, and slammed the cars together like that during a caution. Then it went to red flag, and Hamilton was leading, but the wrap around his neck came out or something. They had to go in and change it.
Right.
So he was going to lose. He lost that position, but Vettel got a 10-second pit penalty for running into Hamilton. And later in the race, the Force India teammates ran into each other on the track bar, battling for about seventh. So,
well, you can see it in this photo here. That thing that kind of surrounds the helmet of the driver, that pops in after the driver gets in and kind of secures them in, and that came loose on Hamilton's car.
So they had to go in there and switch that up. So just a bizarre race over there, and a good time for and what I think is best about Formula One now, there's all kinds of rivalries, and they're people are not happy with other people. Well, you got to love that.
It needed something.
And the interesting thing is, we're so used to you can't work on your car during reds. In Formula One, it's carte blanche.
Yeah.
They can do about anything they want to those cars during a red flag stoppage. So
nice.
There you go. And last note of the first segment, drag racing, big weekend. Steve Torrence got the win in Top Fuel
for the season for him.
Yeah, he beat Doug Coletta, whole shot win. Really close race. That was by maybe a foot. And Jack Beckman won in Funny Car. He 4-0'd them to death. He was a 10th off from everybody else, but everybody else overpowered the track when he was running, including Robert Hyde in the final, who blew the tires off 300 feet in the run.
Yep.
And Jack Beckman gets the win with a run you shouldn't be winning at, but he is. So
but when you get in these summer months, I mean, all over, I mean, it's either hot and humid, where the air is heavy, so they're looking for power, and sometimes they overpower.
It's a very, very fine line.
I mean, we're talking ounces on the clutch weight, right?
Yeah,
it can make the difference. Yeah,
when that clutch comes in and stuff. So anyway, good win for Jack Beckman. That's a second win in 3 races, and then Bo Butner won in Pro Stock. So that's it. That's it for the first segment. We're going to be back in a minute with Steve Hughes and talk about Kern County Raceway Park and a big fireworks show coming up this weekend.